Welcome to Ambition. I'm Showbiz Shelly here. Ambition, where we talk to ambitious people who are on a mission, who are doing good in the community. Welcome, Iggy Rodriguez. Hello.
What's going on? How are you?
Good. I feel like I just saw you on my TV a couple weeks ago because I did.
You did. You saw me not getting a rose again, which is very
what
unfortunate.
Is up with
I don't know. I think it was so much fun. I think it was almost too much fun. Because a lot of it, a lot of it was pretty accurate, where the majority of the time with the guys was with the guys. So there were very few actual love connections going on until much later in that season.
Well, yeah, and I want to talk, because, you were on Rachel Lindsay's season of The Bachelorette, and then it was Bachelor in Paradise. Was it season 4? Is that right?
That's correct, yeah, season 4. Yeah.
So let's first talk, can we talk Bachelor and Bachelorette a little bit
Yeah,
first?
of course, yeah,
okay.
of course.
So Rachel Lindsay's season,
Yeah.
I think I read that you actually kind of didn't like how you were portrayed. Is that true?
I think yes. I think I was disappointed with the way that my sort of call it character, right, or the perception of me on the show was communicated. I ended up, for whatever reason, kind of being like dad in the house and having like very good, deep conversations with a lot of the guys. I'm just personally very, very opinionated. And, I think that once Rachel and I maybe didn't have that romantic connection, it was much more of, okay, Iggy's a guy that knows a lot of stuff in the house, whose opinion is sort of holds some weight in the house. So we're going to see what we can get out of Iggy, because he certainly has an opinion and has information on kind of the goings on of inside the house. So it was a really difficult position for me, because you obviously don't want to be that guy that's having conversations about other people. But when you've got Rachel sitting next to you and basically looking at you and saying, hey, I need your opinion, I trust you, I respect you, I'm basically not going to let you out of this conversation without knowing how you feel about a certain situation, becomes really difficult. And then, of course, my conversations last 20, 30 minutes with her, but everyone sees a 30-second snippet, and it's really easy to sort of be tried in the court of public opinion when you only get a tiny piece of the entirety of the content.
So how did that happen that you became the guy in the house that knew everything?
If you ask the guys now, I think the majority of them, if not most of them, would be like, Iggy was one of the guys in the house. Like, everybody loved Iggy in the house. But as a result, I had conversations with everybody. And I had very serious conversations with a lot of guys. Peter, Dean, Alex, Anthony, Diggy, even guys like Joe and Eric Biggers, who I'm hanging out with this weekend, by the way, in Baltimore, huge Ravens fans. So I'm like really good friends with everybody in the house. And it just so happened that I think maybe from like a maturity level, I was able to have some of those deeper conversations, and they noticed that, and Rachel noticed that as well. And it was very easy for her to ask me those serious questions, because she knew I'd give her a straight up answer.
And so, moving then to Rachel, you obviously, is it possible to create a connection in that environment? Did you feel something? Yeah.
Well, I think the moment you walk up to Rachel, I think the first thing that you notice is that she's even more stunning in person. That I don't think TV does her justice. She's beautiful in person, beautiful in person. But you don't have your phone. You don't have access to internet or TV or radio. You literally are sort of discommunicated from the entire world, and all you're doing is focusing on building a relationship inside the house. Now, the majority of that time is spent with building relationships with the other guys in the house, because that's who you have the most time with. But guys like Peter and Dean and Brian and Eric and the guys who kind of lasted longer, anyone who gets a one-on-one time, you get 12, 13, 14, 15 hours with her, because the shooting takes that long. And when all you have to do is think about and focus on one person, it sort of it heightens the experience, right? Everything is sort of like, you're so hypersensitive to everything, because you're never in that environment, right? Like, you can go home, you can text someone, you watch TV, you kind of forget about it. But in this environment, all you're doing is focusing on building this one relationship. So, there have been some successful engagements, proposals, and marriages as a result of the show, because there's no other environment like the one that you're in. And it's really hard to describe unless you're actually in it, which is why that Bachelor community is so tight, because we're the only ones who kind of get what it feels like to be in that pressure cooker.
I see it, because I follow a lot of you guys on Twitter and Instagram, and I see everyone always liking each other's
yeah, right, and commenting. Yeah, of course.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I think it's our little way of just showing love to everybody. It's not an easy experience, especially watching it back and seeing yourself. And no matter how well you've been portrayed, I think Dean's kind of suffered this Bachelor in Paradise. It was like this totally opposite perspective, but we all have love for each other. And after all is said and done, we have this really unique shared experience, and I think we all respect each other as a result.
Well, and like you say, you kind of were the guy in the house. You were able to connect with a lot of people. I feel then moving to Bachelor in Paradise, I feel like you were the dude who like brought all the dudes together. Like,
yeah.
you were the guy. I feel like every shot they were showing you guys all working out together and eating together.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
I totally felt that way.
Yeah.
I loved being there. So the experience is very different because when you're on The Bachelorette, you don't know anybody, right? It's your first time. That first rose ceremony is the first time you're even seeing anyone in the house, right? Let alone actually getting to know them. You're on Bachelor in Paradise. You've got beautiful women that are equally as cool. You've got your friends that you literally just got off the other show with and you've been dying to see for the last few months. You've got them on a beach as well. And really your whole obligation is to hang out with everybody throughout the day. And I loved it. And it was really easy to like create that atmosphere that was just fun. And I think that candidly, I think Lacey and I had a connection the first night, but after that, she had the unfortunate incident with her grandparents and she had to go back. And then we had the whole debacle and the slowdown, which ended up working out fine for both Corinne and Demario, which I'm very happy about. Then we got to come back and like the whole dynamic had changed. And from a romantic standpoint, I mean, I knew that there wasn't anyone there that I was romantically interested in. And I mean, girls like Alexis, I would hang out with Alexis all day. And like we would just crack, she's amazing. And we would just crack jokes and laugh, but like we weren't gonna hook up, right? And a lot of the time was spent just kind of having a good time.
Was there so much hooking up happening? You can be honest.
Not early.
Not
early. No, the first couple weeks, I think you're still kind of building those relationships. I think what you see throughout the course of like weeks like 3 and 4 and like heading to the end of the season, again, you're on the island together for 4 straight weeks, and anyone who lasted the entire time, it's really easy for those hookups to happen.
Right.
You kind of go a little stir crazy, and like it's like, well, we're here, so we might as well, right?
Half naked.
Well, everyone's good looking and half naked, right?
But
the first few weeks, it was very much like kind of feeling each other out. Aside from Derek, obviously, and Taylor, and then early on Dean and Cristina. But other than that, I mean, again, it was really about kind of just like having fun and figuring out who people were.
By the way, I've seen a couple of things. Are Corinne and Demario dating now?
I don't know if they're dating.
Okay.
But they're certainly hanging out.
Yeah.
Which is a testament to both of them. Like they're friends after this whole thing, and I think it's unfortunate how both of them were portrayed in the media. We talked about how disappointing it was to see how the media attacked Demario as like a perpetrator, right? And as like a predator. Like we hated seeing that because Demario, for all the mistakes that he's made, is not a bad guy. I think he has complete ownership over the things that he's done, and to think that the media kind of alluded to the fact that he would do something so sinister was really, really shitty for us as his friends to take a look at. And it's nice that he and Corinne can hang out and be friends.
And I like that they both said too, even that they both have gone to therapy and they seem to work on things and work on themselves.
I mean,
so that was good.
Demario lost his job.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was it was real life implications after that. So it's nice to hear that they're both okay.
And is Dean doing okay? Because
Dean's great.
Dean's
Dean's
fine?
great. There ain't nothing wrong with Dean.
Okay.
Dean is gonna be. Don't worry about Dean. Okay, Dean's gonna be just fine.
Okay. Are he and Cristina kind of?
I honestly, I don't know. I talked to both of them. I think that Dean is very much focused on continuing to kind of build off of his momentum. And Cristina's the best, by the way. She's amazing. She's gorgeous and super cool, and she's also like crazy Russian, which is like attractive, which is like kind of weird. But no, I think they're both great. I mean, look, the things that happen on the show sometimes can be, sort of emphasized a little too much, and the emotions run super high and super hot. But I think that they both talk still, and I don't know what the relationship status is, but they're both great.
So what you're telling me is probably this whole thing, it didn't impact Dean too much.
No, I mean, I think it impacts all of us. I think no matter how long you spend on either show, I think it impacts you significantly. And I think that Dean's 25. I mean, what other 25-year-old guy has an opportunity to be essentially, clawed at by hundreds of thousands of beautiful women, let alone 3 or 4 very beautiful women on like in a place where you're supposed to spend time with them, right? It's a really difficult position, and I think that Dean handled that the only way he knew that he could in the moment, and I think he's learned from that. But yeah, Dean's gonna be just fine.
Well, like you said, it impacts you. How did it impact you, do you think?
Certainly like the way that I view relationships right now.
Really?
I think that it's interesting to think that some of the guys in the show ended up being like my very best friends, and that Dean. I'm gonna go. Anthony and I are driving up to Wisconsin to hang out with Peter tomorrow, and watch
Can I come?
We get that request a lot. No, and like watch the Wisconsin Northwestern game, and
fun. Go NU.
I'm from LA, so I don't have a horse. Yeah. But no, like I think the way that I communicate and the way that I view relationships is different. You get to know the people in the house on a very, very intimate level. And you kind of like cut through the shit immediately, right? You cut through the surface stuff right away because you can only be so like proper on TV for so long.
Right before then, you kind of have to start to forget the cameras are there.
You do. And like 6-7 months ago, this would like freak me out, right? Like lights here and like a mic in my face. But, you know, you start to get familiar with your surroundings and really let your guard down. And when all you have to do is drink and talk to your friends for 18, 19 hours a day that you're awake, you learn some real shit about people. And I think just kind of cutting through the bullshit right away is important to me.
So has that helped you in dating then since then? Like
I'm dating someone now. Yeah, she's beautiful. She's amazing.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Met her in Chicago?
She is actually from Cincinnati, lives in Los Angeles.
Lives in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay, because we didn't quite cover. You're from Los Angeles originally, right?
Born and raised in Pasadena.
Okay.
I've been in the Midwest for about 8 years. I'm actually heading back to LA full time in just a few weeks.
Well, then I'm glad I caught you when I did.
Yeah, literally like 2 weeks from now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So are big things happening out there then?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know that I've been in the entrepreneurial scene for a long time.
That's how I first met you. Yeah.
Right. So knock on wood, one of the projects that I'm working on right now is in the final stages of our first round of fundraising. And we're going to be headquartered out of Southern California.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Not yet.
Okay.
Hopefully,
we'll put it out there
hopefully in the next like 48 hours. Congratulations.
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's exciting. And then relationships going good too.
Yeah. I met her when I was back home. She's a regular human, not a TV person.
Okay,
a regular
good.
human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's incredible. So again, knock on wood, very, very fortunate right now.
Were there any hesitations like, did she just like me because I was on the show and I just finished the show?
Here's the cool part is that I've been on dates right since I left Paradise. Every one of them, there was this conversation, right? Oh my God, what was the show like? What's Corinne like? You know what I mean? Like all these things. And you don't necessarily know whether or not the interest is purely because they think you're cool or they've seen you on the show. She had no idea who I was.
That's the best.
And I'm like, this is perfect. And she's like, I'm not going to watch the season. I don't need to. Like, we're good. I'm happy with that.
Makes it even better.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
How long has it been? Do you want to say?
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I think like in a very official capacity, about a month.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
So good things are on the horizon.
Hope so.
Yeah. By the way, I know you're good friends with Peter. Is he doing okay? I assume he's doing okay.
Oh, Peter's also doing fantastic. Yeah, Peter's great.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone, and I was texting him throughout that last episode because he was watching it. We all watch it for the first time, right? Like, we don't know what's being cut up. We don't know how we're being portrayed. We're all watching this season, like, glued to our TV screens because we know what happened week after week, but we have no idea how it's going to be cut up, right? So we're watching it like fans, like everyone else, and like cringing harder than you guys are, trust me. And like it's interesting to kind of watch it play back. And I was with Diggy and Anthony watching the finale, and we're all texting him like, "Holy shit, dude, this is like super intense for us to watch. Like I can't imagine."
I went to that viewing party with you guys.
Oh, that's right, yeah, at the pizza joint.
Crazy.
Yeah. And you know, I think that Peter maybe, and you know, I've seen a handful of seasons, and I've been a fan for a while. I think he might be the only one that went out like that on his own terms. That went out like that. That was like, look, this is what I believe in. I'm not ready to propose and get on a knee to you right now, which I think is totally fair. But I do want to see where the relationship goes. And I cannot tell you how difficult it is to stick by your guns in that situation. I cannot tell you the kind of pressure that you're under. Even my conversations with Rachel, like, so difficult to get out of sort of any conversation that you don't want to have, right? It's like you can't not have it. They're happening right now, and they're happening right in front of you.
Right, you can't escape.
You can't escape it. And Peter, I think, did as best as he could to communicate how he was feeling. But he's doing great.
We had, quite a talk about it on the radio the next
day. Yeah, I bet a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. Peter's great.
Okay, good to know. Is he still single? Do you know?
As far as I know, he is.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him for about a week, so I'll see him tomorrow.
let him know if he wants to come on.
You're single?
Here. Well, that too. Yeah, but if he wants to come on here too, I'm happy to host him.
No, he's I think he's finally kind of starting to make the rounds a little bit. He was under very much lock and key for the last couple months. So yeah, I think he's starting to figure it
out. Okay, so we covered Bachelor in Paradise. Let's talk, because I know aside too, like I said, we knew each other from doing the tech stuff initially.
Yeah.
And then now you're also kind of doing a lot of stuff in the community and doing something really cool that's happening next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have an opportunity with our sort of very small window of popularity to try and at least make an impact in some way. I'm a huge puppy fan. You know, I love dogs. I love animals. I think my two biggest sort of areas of interest are special needs. So my mom taught special ed for a really long time.
Oh, wow.
And so that holds like a very like near and dear place in my heart. And then obviously puppies, because puppies. Yeah. So I've got two things going on. So I'll be at the Wisconsin game with Peter and Anthony on Saturday morning. Drive back down, and I'm hosting a sort of local celeb pizza eating competition at Bocce Pizza.
Sure.
The proceeds of which are going to help the Chicago chapter of Special Olympics.
Awesome.
That's very cool. And then Monday, I'm going to be at the Anti-Cruelty Society here in Chicago doing an event called Pints for Pets. It is donation to get in, a bunch of free booze. You get to play with puppies and drink alcohol. All of the proceeds obviously benefit the Anti-Cruelty Society and help puppies get adopted and put into regular homes.
That's amazing. Is that all going to be on your social media and everything?
Yeah, I'll be throwing it up as much as I can.
Okay.
But yeah, the next couple of days are crazy, and then going into next week, I'm actually going to be. It's going to be fun. I'll be in Florida on Thursday with DeMario, Vinny from the previous season, and a few other Bachelor guys doing another puppy charity event.
You guys are all softies. I knew this.
We are. I mean, we go on a show to get married. You know, like we're all in some capacity. We're all kind of hopeless romantics.
Yeah.
So I'll be in Florida doing a charity auction, so you can actually bid to go on a date with a number of us. And then all of those proceeds are going to the local shelter in Delray Beach, Florida.
Did you run that by your girlfriend though?
She's okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's okay with it. I let her know.
Okay, good.
She's like, "What's it for?" I'm like, "Puppies." She's like, "Okay, that's fine." She's gonna be there anyway, so it's okay. Yeah, it's
well, that's
fine.
good.
Yeah.
So that's all very cool, and I do something that's a little bit fun. It's just called Shelly Shakes It Up. So
Cool.
I just have some random questions in here.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm literally shaking them up. And just go ahead and
get the
draw.
pick?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Go ahead, just draw.
Oh, there's a couple. I want this little one. Okay. You want the hat?
Sure.
Talk about your first girlfriend or boyfriend. This one's interesting. Okay. I went to like a very, very small private high school in Southern California, and I knew those kids. I think I started going there in like 5th grade. So I knew the same kids from 5th grade until senior year.
Small group.
82 graduating class.
Wow.
Tiny, right? And in 5th and 6th grade, I was a very pudgy, shy little boy. And that kind of sticks with you forever, even when you grow into yourself and start looking a little better. So I actually didn't have a girlfriend until college.
Okay.
My first girlfriend was in my sophomore year of college. I think I played football in college. Like I was finally feeling kind of like a cool guy, right? She was a senior. I was going into my sophomore year. And I just saw her sitting, kind of inside the commons by herself. And I'm like, holy shit, this girl is like gorgeous. So I said, screw it. I walked up. I was in like my I can't. The things you wear in college, by the way, are awful.
I look back at pictures. I get it, yeah.
I was wearing like a football shirt and like tattered workout shorts, and I thought I was looking good at the time. So I walked up to her and kind of started talking to her, introduced myself. I'm sure I was like nervous as hell, but ended up having a cool conversation. We were kind of like had this very similar background, and we ended up dating for 4.5 years.
So basically all of college.
Pretty much, and then out of college as well.
Wow.
My very first girlfriend was about 4.5 year relationship.
You just dive right in, no
I don't know.
reservations.
Okay, so in business, in like relationships, in whatever, I only know how to do it all the way or not do it. I don't know how to do things halfway.
Well, that's good though. I say that's
it can be it can be good. It can be damaging at times because you're like, I think for me, like whether it be financially or professionally or emotionally, like I take a lot of risks. So it can suck sometimes, but it can also be amazing sometimes.
Well, and it's really interesting to hear you talk and like get to know this side of you. Because how is it like on the show when you are, like you say, watching it back? You have a lot of anxiety.
Sure.
And then you hear someone say, like, I even think Lacey was like, Iggy's full of shit. Oh my god.
Oh, totally.
What is that like to hear people say that? And then
I hear it. I've heard it enough that it doesn't really bother me. I think that people are, in general, are really suspicious of someone who is actually saying how they feel. I think people in general assume that there's a hidden agenda or that there's some sense of, them being disingenuous for whatever reason or playing a game, or especially in relationships, right? It's like, do I text her back right now because I miss her? Or do I wait 3 days? It's bullshit, right? It's like, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. I'm not going to play any games. And if I'm telling you something, I mean it. But very few people on TV, in real life, right? I think very few people accept that as the honest truth because they haven't been approached that way ever.
Well, also, too, now with social media, I feel like it's much easier to kind of portray yourself as something you're not and
totally
have this other side. And so
I think there's no denying how someone makes you feel in person, though, right? Like that, like personal communication, the physical communication and experience. And again, I'm like brutally honest. If I don't like you, I will tell you that I don't like you. But for Lacey, I started telling her, like, I really like you from, like, as a human being. Like, she's kind of a jerk, but, like, in a funny way, right? Like her wit
you
is, like...
crazy girls.
I mean, it's, I think, a combination of what's attracted to me and what I'm attracted to. But no, I mean, she's really witty and she's funny and, like, she kind of has, like, some, call it, like, boy humor to get kind of crude.
I can see that,
And I'm like, it's funny and I like that. But I think after that first, kind of first night when we had, we made out and had that moment, I think it was sort of friendly after that. But I told her, I was like, I like you. I really think you're cool. I would like to get to know you more. But, from a romantic standpoint, I just don't see anything happening there. And I think she felt kind of the same way. But what you saw was me saying, hey, I want to hang out with you. And, like, I want to spend time with you and get to know you. And her going, I don't know if you're full of shit. Because at that point, she was kind of a wild card rose, right? So, that's totally fair on her part to ask that question.
Yeah. So is there anything kind of just to wrap this up that you want people to know about you that maybe they don't or that maybe they didn't get to see on the show?
Yeah, I think that what you see on reality TV is not always what you get. I think that's important for people everywhere to understand that the responsibility of the producers, number one, is to Rachel and to try and find guys that actually might be able to make her happy and hopefully I like Brian. Brian was a friend to people in the house, and I hope that is true and that works. The second part of their job is to make a television show. So some of the things that you see are oftentimes taken out of context. So for me, it's just that I'm a regular human being, and I'm just sort of I'm somebody who's really passionate about a lot of things, and sometimes that comes across as maybe in a negative way portrayed on television, but hopefully it comes across more positive in everyday life.
Any more TV for you?
I don't know. There have been some opportunities. If I'm being honest, I'm really enjoying getting back to work and like normal, right? Like doing normal stuff. Like feels good waking up and going to the gym and going to work and feeling like you're getting stuff done.
Not necessarily being on a beach away from society.
Look, it's awesome, and it's
Yeah.
like, and I've told people this too. Like I wouldn't take it back, and I enjoyed every moment. But it feels good to have like a schedule again. I can't tell you how crazy it is even after that, because they kind of own you, right? It's like, hey, we need you to do pickups, or there's an event here, or there's an interview, or we need to fly you out to LA for something. It's really hard to have a schedule and to be consistent with work or personal relationships or anything outside of the show component, even months after it's done. So finally settling back in, it feels pretty good.
Well, good. Iggy, good to see you. Thank
Good to
you
see you
so
too.
much for
Of
coming
course,
in.
yeah.
Doing good things in the community. You
Trying
said this
to.
weekend, Monday, puppies.
Yes, so Saturday, Bocce Pizza. We are doing a fundraiser for Special Olympics here in Chicago. On Monday, anti-cruelty, Pints for Pets. Tickets are online on my story. On Thursday in Delray Beach, Florida, doing a Bachelor auction for their charity and their shelter in Delray Beach, Florida.
Which is girlfriend approved.
Girlfriend approved.
Where can people follow you on social media?
All of my properties at Iggy, _Rodriguez. I try and be engaging as I can. If people have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Cool. Iggy, good to
Awesome.
see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.